Hi everyone, here we go again. I just tried to put something on a second ago and I had a couple of issues, so I decided to start again. Now what I'm going to do today for you, I'm actually going to show you some retouching, because I've had a lot of people ask about how I do skin softening and things like that with the model shoots that I do. So what I thought that I'd give you is a demonstration of frequency separation. And what I can do at the end of it, if you like, you can contact me by email or through Facebook or something with your email address, and I'll actually send you the action through Photoshop, so you can just load it yourself and you can do the exact thing that I'm doing. You don't have to create the action by hand. You can just install it. So I thought we'll do that. I'm just going to make sure it's fired up through here. Now, what we're going to do, I've got an image here that you can look at. Now, this is, I'll go to the original. I'm just going to switch to my desktop. So I'm going to go to Photoshop, and I've got an image in here a couple of times, which is, this is the retouched one. You can see this area now has been softened quite a bit. The skin's there still, and this one here is the unretouched one. Now, what you've got to be careful about is when you're doing this, you've got to try and make sure that you still can have all the detail in the skin. Sometimes if you use things, software that's automatic, it will tend to make the skin go a little bit soft and you'll lose all the detail in the skin. For instance, let's have a look at this. I'm going to blow this up a little bit. Now, if we look at some areas on here, now you can see that when we're looking at this, you've got areas like this where you've got a few obviously skin blemishes that are coming through here. You can also see there's areas like this too, which are an issue as well. The shine as well that you can sort of see through here. I'll just quit through here. And also you can sort of see through this area here that it's a little bit modelly and rough as well. And obviously, we've got pimples sort of around these areas as well. So there's quite a few. And even down here, you can see that is a bit modelly as well. So I'll clear all those areas off so that you can sort of see what's going on. Hi Trees, how are you, mate? Good to see that you're actually here. I'm not sure how many we'll get because it's obviously late overseas, but I thought I'd go through this with you. And obviously people can ask questions later on, and I can get back to them as well. Now, so I thought I'd show you how you go about doing this process to get this nice looking skin. This is Ellie. This is a model that I've worked with a few times. And so I thought I'd show you with her. Zoom Chris, what's up, David? Just stopped to say hi. Keep up the good work. Thanks, mate. I hope you get something out of this today, because you'll actually see how I do a little bit of retouching. And if I move down through here, you can actually see that it's quite modelly through this area as well. I think Ellie's used some tanning, so it's added issues through here. Now I'm not going to do full retouching with this. I might then open it up again for another lesson for you guys, and I'll show how I do things like sharpen the skin, and we'll do a little bit of nip and tucking. I can also bring some highlighting on the hair and also on the face as well. So I'll show that through another one, and we can have a look at that all together as well. But I thought we'll go through it now. I'll show you the retouch one again, just so that you can see in here. So this has only had the skin softening done though. It's up to you if you want to go this far, but I'll show you how that's done and how you can pull it back to get an effect that you actually like. So I'll just bring that back. So what we're going to do, first of all, this process is called frequency separation. Now, under actions, you'll have in here that these are my actions, but basically there'll be one that's called frequency separation. So all you need to do is to click on that. You'll install that obviously. When I send it to you, you just have to basically go open up your actions palette and then say in here, you've just got to go to, where's actions here? You've just got to go up to here and say, where are we? Actions, go into this little menu that's on the side there, and you'd actually start to say load actions, and then you'll point to the path where that is on your computer, and you can install it through. Now I'm not sure if it'll work on Windows. I've done this on the Mac. I think it probably will, but I'm not sure. You could try it anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on that frequency separation, and I'm going to hit the play button down the bottom. Now, what you'll see here, I'm going to close these actions so they don't get in the way. What you'll see here, it's added 2 separate layers. Well, it's added a group. These are inside this group. If you look at the top over here, I'll just blow this up so you can see it. You can see it's added a group up there. Inside that group, you've got what they call a texture layer, and you've also got what they call the blur layer. Now, with that, all your softening is going to be done on this blur layer, and then if you want to get rid of pimples and stuff, you can do that on the texture layer. But what I might do actually, before I do that, I'm just going to delete this layer because I want to do a little bit of spot reduction first. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to enlarge this, and I'm just going to get rid of anything that looks really, really big. Now I'm going to use this little tool over here. So if I hit on here, you'll see I'm going to use this one, and it's just a spot removal tool. And basically I'm just going to, now I'm using the Wacom tablet, so I'm just going to get a spot area that's not too big, and I'm just going to gently go over these spots to try and get rid of these really large ones. So you just do this gently. You could do this on its own layer if you wanted to. It's probably a good idea to do it on its own layer, but I'm just going to go basically through and get rid of a few of these areas that are reasonably big pimples. Now the other thing too is I don't really like these lines that much coming through the face through here. So if you look at these through this area here, can you see that there's those lines through the forehead, through these sections? So I'm not that keen on those, so I think I'm actually going to get rid of those too with this tool. So I'm just going to go back down to here and gently just go over those to get rid of those lines first. Now I'm doing this pretty quick. I'd obviously take a little bit longer if I was doing this on the professional image. And I'm just going to get rid of a few of these bits down here. Now once I'm roughly happy with that, what I'm then going to do is open up that frequency separation layer. So I'm going to open up the actions again. I'm going to go down to where I've installed that, which is frequency separation, and then I'm going to hit play. All right, which will bring that up. Now, just with these actions, it only tends to work if your layer's flat. So if you have brought other layers there, flatten your layers off first to make your layers flat. Now, once that's done, all you do is you click on the blur layer. Like I said, this layer here is what you're going to do all your softening. This texture layer up here is just for getting rid of spots and things like that, and I'll show you a couple of those in a minute once I've gone through this softening that I'm going to show you. So I'm just going to click on the blur layer. Now I'm going to grab this tool up here, so I'm going to grab the lasso, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to take small areas and I'm going to draw around these small areas. Now I'm giving it a feather up here. I want to put in, say, around about 5 pixels, just so it's nice and soft on the end. So I'm going to put 5 pixels. Now once I've done that, I'm going to go up to filter, blur, and I'm going to go to Gaussian blur. Now with your Gaussian blur, what you've got to do, make sure you've got preview selected on here. So I've got preview selected, and I'm going to drag this radius up until I see that the skin softens off. So I'm just going to grab this until I see that. Now if I take it fully extreme up, you'll see what's happened. See how it's gone too far. But I want to sort of take it around about an area where I think it's softened up nicely. So I'm going to go a little bit higher than what I want, because I can always back off with the opacity on the layer. So I'm going to leave it about, I might go for, say, around about 15. Well, it's 14.8. That's fine. So I'm going to OK that. And then I'm going to grab the next layer through here. So it's better to do this in stages. But now that I've already done that, all I have to do is go up to filter and go to Gaussian blur. You can see straight away that it's actually done it. I'm going to come down onto the nose area through here and go again up to filter, Gaussian blur. Again, we're going to come through here. I'll do this whole section through here. Now you can see here how it's very mottly. It's also a bit shiny from the flash that's gone off. Filter, Gaussian blur. So it's going to soften everything off. I'm then going to come through this section through here. filter, Gaussian blur, and I'm going to soften all this area over this side. Again, it's quite harsh coming through here. Filter, Gaussian blur. I'll do down this section. Filter, Gaussian blur. And then I'm going to come through here. Gaussian blur. Now, I'm just going to deselect that. Now, the thing now I want to do is to basically come down into the neck and the body. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to come through here. I'm going to grab this in one go to make it quick for you guys. So I'm just going to grab this section. Again, just go filter, Gaussian blur. The arms come up through here. Now try and not do the detail areas like where that arm was. And again, I'm going to show this in the next exercise for you how we can fix all these. Filter, Gaussian blur. And then lastly, I'm going to do this quick. So it may be a little bit rough on the edges. And bring it up through here. And filter, Gaussian blur. Deselect that. I might even add these little bits in. Filter, Gaussian blur. Okay. Now, if you find that you've gone too far with the with how strong you've made that, well, because you're on that layer, all you can do is you can go into here, and I'm up this section over here. So you can just grab here and then drag the opacity down clearly. See, that's off, and then if you want to bring it back up just to a point where you're sort of happy with it. So I'll probably go around about 50–60%. And then if I turn that on and off, you can see the results that I've got. I might make it a fraction stronger actually. Oh, it's 0, that's why. 50%. So let me turn that layer off and we'll sort of see. I'll blow it up a little bit so you can have a look. That's off, and then that's on. So I might even bring it up a fraction more. You can see as I drag it up, it's going to go stronger or less. So you sort of balance it where you sort of like the look of what it's giving. I've gone up to about 60%. Now, some areas where you think that there may still be pimples, like for instance, there's a bit of still a pimple inside there. You know, you've got a couple of rough bits that are in here. There's one sort of in there that I could get rid of. These are the areas, and there's a couple in there too. These are the areas that you'll use this texture layer mask. Oh, let me delete that. So what you've got to do now, you've got to click on the texture mask. Now this is going to keep all the detail there, but it's going to basically clone, and it'll clone detail from where you're going from to the area what you're trying to cover. So I'm going to use the clone tool. Just make sure you're on normal. And let's go pretty large, and then get a size for the clone tool that you're happy with, and then make sure you're on the texture layer over here and just click, and then basically what it's going to do, it's going to clone away but still keeping detail, because it's using a detail layered mask to keep all the detail there rather than getting rid of it. See here too, I'm going to get rid of these. I'll try and get rid of that pimple that's in there. There's some that are coming through here that I can get rid of. So again, it's good because it's still keeping all your detail that's on the face. So you're not getting rid of that skin texture, which is what you've got to be careful of, because when you're doing these, you don't want to get rid of the texture of the skin. That's the secret to doing this. If you've got any questions, guys, throw them up and I'll answer them while we're going. And feel free, because I'll keep checking. So I'll keep going. Now this is going to become another area that is a bit of an issue. I'm going to show you in a second how we'll fix that area here, because I'm not quite happy with that, so I think I'll delete that too. But that's basically how you do it. So if you're looking at it, that texture layer will just get rid of any areas that are showing marks or pimples and stuff like that. As well. You don't need to worry about what these are actually doing, because like I said, you can just install it and use it. So your blue layer is to give you the nice skin softening but keeping texture. this top layer keeps the texture there, so it won't get rid of all your texture. You're still getting texture when you look inside those areas. You can still see that there's still skin texture coming through this, so it hasn't blown all that away. Now, what I'll do now, I'm just going to show you how we can get rid of this mark here. So I'm going to use Shift Option Command E, and it should flatten. It's made a new layer on top of all of these. It's a combination of all these layers that are on top. Now, all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to grab the clone tool, and I'm going to make it up the top here to lighten, because this area is darker. And then all I'm going to do is basically click into here and then gently go over these areas. Now, in a second, I'll show you what I'm going to do, because we've got to back off that to make it look a little bit lighter. Now, once I've done that, I'm just going to go to the opacity of that layer and then back it down a little bit. You never want to be on full. You sort of back it down until you're sort of happy with it. And it sort of gives you a look like that. What gear did you use on the shot? Yeah, now this was the A7R2, and it was a 2470 f4 lens. It was shot at f8 with 100 ISO. There was a big light. It was a big Profoto Octa that was camera left as you're looking at it over there, her left side there, and you can see the light coming from that side. You can also see the catch light in her eyes. If you look at the catch light there, you'll see the Octa is actually sitting inside there. So that's the Octa that's lit her up, and there was 2 Profoto lights on the background to make that background white as well. So that's what I used on the shoot. So you can sort of see, if we look at it, that, you know, we've gone a long way compared to what the original thing was, but we've also kept the detail in the skin, and that's the secret to this retouching. That's where things like portraiture are not that good, because it will flatten the whole thing out. So most of these automated programs will flatten the image off. It will flatten the skin, get rid of all the detail, and you don't want to do that. You want to keep the detail there as much as possible. So that's what that's for. Like I said, if you do want this action, just email me and let me know. The contact information's on the about on this, and I'll send that action to you so you can just install it yourself. It's just one I've made up, and I'll send that to you, and you can just install it into Photoshop and try it yourself. If you use this as your guide, you can sort of follow it and then go from there. Again, there's little spots that were down here that I would take out using that texture layer as well. But that's how that works. And what we'll do next time, I'll show you how we can do a little bit of contouring of the skin, lighting the hair, sharpening the eyes and things like that. So we'll do that as the next level to this in the next exercise that we look at, so we can take it a little bit further. One other thing to note too is on May the 7th, I'm going to be doing a massive studio shoot. It's got, I think, 7 girls. We've got 4 makeup artists here. We're going to be doing a glitter shoot, so we're going to be painting the girls in glitter. It's going to be basically a head, shoulder, arms, glitter type shoot. So it's going to be really, really exciting. I'm going to shoot some of that live that we can show through YouTube. I think we're starting at 9 o'clock here in Australia. So it'll be probably midday or something around the US in most areas. So I'm going to shoot a lot of that during the day, stream it, and then I'm going to obviously show it as in a longer video, the whole process and how the finished images came up. So that's one thing to look at on May the 7th. It's going to be really exciting. So, you know, please keep your eyes open for that. Apart from that, I wanted to talk to you about a couple of bits of news today as well with Pentax and stuff. Looks like the Pentax cameras look like they may go out of business, but I might talk about that in another discussion tomorrow or something. But apart from that, yeah, so this was frequency separation. Give it a thumbs up if you can, and I'll see you in the next tutorial that I put up. So unless there's any questions, got any questions, guys, before I go? If not, I'll sign off. Like I said, we haven't got as many watching this time. Yeah, May the 7th, it probably would be midday in the US. Yeah, it's pretty early here. Like I said, I'm starting at 9 or 10, I think, in the morning. It's going to be a big shoot. I'm going to do continuous light with that one because you want basically the lighting to show the glitter, so that it's going to be a pretty cool exercise to see. So, all right, guys, so I'll sign off there. And like I said, just send me an email off if you want me to send you over that free action. Like I said, I'm not going to charge you guys anything. You'll get it free. And I'll see you again soon for the next exercise. Bye, guys.